we're gonna finish up this month of February with our roast beef and make a pot pie and a super soup is what my mom used to call a homemade soup, was super soup. So first of all, I'm gonna start off with the pot pie. I have got some cooked chopped potatoes. I did about, I don't know, there's about 5 or 6 medium russet potatoes is what I did. And I'm gonna just be making the filling right now for our pot pie. I'm gonna put it in a big bowl. I have my carrots all chopped up. And there's quite a few there, so I'll probably use some of that for my soup, for my beef vegetable soup. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook those. You wanna have everything cooked for the pot pie, except if you're going to use peas, do not cook the peas, put those in frozen. But I like carrots, and you can use fresh green beans. I just use the French sliced frozen green beans and corn. You can use whatever, if you want to put onions, you can do onions. If you want to do celery, you can do celery, whatever you like. This is my favorite combination, and so that's what I will do. I will start off with boiling the carrots for about, 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'll add my green beans for another 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'll add some of my corn. And I don't use a full bag, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 of a bag of the green beans. And most kids, people like corn, so you can put as much corn in there as you want. It just depends on what your preference is. And that's how I do it. You can do them separately if you want to, and that's great too. But I just make sure that they're tender, not crunchy. Okay, here is our drained vegetables and our chopped up potatoes. We are going to pour that in there. I decided just to go ahead and use all these carrots for my pot pie. We'll just do some more for our soup later on. I pulled out my meat out of the freezer. I nuked it in the microwave just a little bit so I could get it apart, and I chopped it up. And you can do it as small as or as chunky or whatever you want. Just go ahead and pour that into there. Now I am all out of my gravy. I'm all out of my gravy and all out of my juice from my roast. I used it for all of my other meals. And so what I like to do, I still had meat left, so I'm making the pot pie, and I am going to use, this is just from Walmart. It's a brown gravy mix. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour that into my pot pie mix. And this is actually quite a bit. It might even make 2 pot pies. Or, you know, you could put it in a big baking dish. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle that on. You can add a little bit of onion salt, garlic salt. You can add a little bit of green onion if you want. Just kind of depends on what you want. And then I'm gonna add about 3/4 cup of water to this. Just so it'll be a little bit gravy when it's done. Now just mix it up. And then I am ready to go and put it in my prepared pie dish. You can buy one. You can make your own crust. You can just get the kind that you roll out and put in there. And then you just go ahead and fill it up. A lot of times I will just put a crust on the top, so it doesn't even need to have a crust on the bottom. It's delicious. If you're trying to cut out some calories, you can do that. Either way. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up all the way. Just kind of pack it down in there. It smells so delicious. And then I'll roll out my next crust to put over the top. Okay, so here is our rolled out crust for the top. It's not perfect, and I'm just, I'm just kind of trying to get this made. I'm not into making it perfect right now. This is just for my family. So I'm going to roll it up on my rolling pin and lay it over my pot pie, like that. And like I say, I am not that great at making it look beautiful, but you just want to make sure that you get it all tucked in with the bottom one. Tuck it all the way in, under or over, and then you'll want to crimp the edges. You can use a fork, you can use your knuckle and thumb, whichever way works best for you. And some of you, I'm sure, are so much more elegant and better at making the pie crust look amazing. I've never mastered that quite yet, but the crust is homemade and fantastic, at least that for me, but it does not matter. They have really, really improved the store-bought crusts, and they're great, they're easy, they're convenient. You can get the ones already pre-made in a pan, or get, like I say, they have the Pillsbury kind that you can go ahead and roll out. So there we go. So easy and so yummy. And there's some parts that have a little bit thicker piece of crust than the other, but oh well. I'm just kind of practical, I guess. Kind of push it down like that. And this is one of the really important things of a pot pie, is you want to get a knife and make a vent for this pot pie. And I like to, this is my beef pot pie, so I will just make a B for beef. If it's turkey pot pie, you can, this is awesome to use for leftover turkey, and you can just put a T in it for turkey, or leftover chicken, you could put a C for chicken. And there's your vent. You want to make sure that it has a place for it to steam. And then you just set your oven for 350 and put it on the bottom shelf. If you have a crust on the bottom, put it on the bottom shelf and cook it for about an hour. You want to make sure that your bottom crust gets done. Everything else is cooked in there, and you just want to make sure that your crust is nice and golden brown on the top. So I would say check it after about an hour. If it needs a little bit more, every oven is different. And there you have it. You can put it in the freezer. If you're not going to make it, for tonight, you can wrap it up in saran wrap and put another plastic over it, or put foil over it and put it in your freezer for another day. So there's our beef pot pie. Thanks for watching. Okay, there's our finished pot pie. I just pulled it out of the oven. It's just nice and golden brown. And I wanted to say also, you can, if you're out of gravy from the rest of your beef, you can get another one of those little packets of brown gravy mix and just mix it up. They're not too bad for for a mixed brownie, or not brownie, a mixed brown gravy. So you can just do that and then pour it over your pot pie, and there you go.